win for number 74, Duncan Tolhurst. In second place, number 14, Ian Humphries. Third place, number 21, that's Tommy Palmer. And fourth place, number 263. Fifth place, number 327. Sixth place, number 12. Seventh, number 188. Eighth, 260. Ninth, 22. And 10th, 252. The winning time, 123.64. 123.64 the time. A win in race 29 for Duncan Tolhurst. Well, as we look to that far side, it looks to be quite a depleted field in this one, but one rider to look out for. He's already got to the front. It's number 39. That, of course, is Rob Ledwith. Well, he's got maximum points at the moment. Two rides. Dodd is scoring well this afternoon. He's up in second place. So really those two getting away from the only three other riders. I was going to say the rest of the field, but a very depleted field in race 30. Well, this is the man that's going to go through last year. Well, that's it, number 39. Great to see him back on the grass. We've missed him for quite a few months. Very, very talented rider. As I say that, I can see that Rob has pulled up on the pit bend. Well, I'm not sure whether it was a chain that come off or whether it's something a bit more serious. I've strained through the binoculars, but let's not take it away from Luke Dodd, because he's stayed there in second place and now been elevated up to the top. And I can in fact see through the binoculars that Rob Ledwith has just shot a chain. Oh, what a great shame to see that. You can see that he's already given the bike to his mechanic. I can see that the chain is dangling off the back sprocket. Oh, a great shame for Rob Ledwith, but as we see the checkered flag go, maximum points from this one for Luke Dodd. Second place is number 212, Keith Jury. Four riders only, so a win for number 215, Luke Dodd. In second place, number 212, Keith Jury. Third place, number 400, and fourth place, number 501. 126.64 the time, 126.64. 215, 212, 400, and 501. And I think the big question now is whether those two wins, 28 points for Rob Ledwith, will that be enough to get him through into the final? Well, we'll have to wait and see, because we've got all the other third leg rides to go yet, including, of course, the last of the 500cc solo rides. Well, we've seen all the top point scorers. We now look to see a little bit further down the point scoring chart to see that we've got in the second three Julian number 174. He's been putting in some good results as well, so he could feature in the points. But at the moment, it is number 73, Julian Phipps, leading from Chris Tritton in second. And as I say that, you see Chris Tritton getting very, very close. He's gone very, very wide. On that wide line, must be finding a lot of traction outside on the circuit. Well, as you can see going into that pit bend, Chris Tritton looked up then. He sat up very, very straight. I don't know whether Chris Tritton has got problems. We go to the last lap. Here is Julian Phipps is leading. Robin Tilbury second. Chris Tritton just slowed an awful lot. Still there in third, but he does look to me to have slowed. Be anxiously watched to see where he will qualify for that third place. Well, there's going to be some frantic point scoring this class in particular has now got very, very interesting. In second place, number 174, Robin Pilcher. Third place, number 3, Chris Tritton. Fourth place, number 6. Fifth place, number 62. Sixth place, number 23. And seventh place, number 2. The winning time, 125.10. you'll notice that 555, although he finished, is not featured in the results. That one has been excluded from the results. As indeed, I've got to inform you that 4th place in the race before, race 30, has also been excluded by the clerk of the course. That's 501 excluded in race 30 and 555 excluded in race 31. Race 32, we turn our attention back to the sidecars, and it's getting very interesting at the top of the sidecar competition because we've got a lot of riders getting very, very close to each other. A chance to see in action once again Roger Measor and Shane Lapham as they go straight to the front of the race and down that back straight. Already getting a bit of a lead on Rob Heath and Dean Bartholomew, number 8 in 2nd place. I've got to find out at the interval where that outfit came from. Roy Spreadbury and Steve Kensington in 3rd place at the moment. As we watch down that far side, Roger Measor and Shane Lapham. I'm sure they'll want to put up a very quick time here, just to show the rest of the field that they do mean business this afternoon. Rob Heath going well in 2nd. There's a good scrap now going on for that 3rd place, so as you can see that Steve Heath and Barry Knight have moved through into 3rd place in front of Roy Spreadbury. Well, as I say that, Roy is saying no, he's not. I'm going to come back into 3rd place, so an interesting battle for that 3rd place. As we go into the last lap of race 32, Roger Measor and Shane Lapham look to be in very good form, which of course is good news to see any of these top crews in good form, because of course we have got the British Masters 2nd round and final round to look forward to next week. Well, as we see that checker flag go up, it's going to mean 3 wins from 3 rides for Roger Measor and Shane Lapham. Coming through in 2nd is outfit number 8. And that, of course, is Rob Heath and Dean Bartholomew, as Roy Spreadbury and Steve Kensington get that 3rd place in front of Steve Heath and Barry Knight. The win for number 51, that's Roger Measor and Shane Lapham. In 2nd place, number 8, Rob Heath and Dean Bartholomew. In 3rd place, number 43, Ken Spreadbury and, Roy Spreadbury and Steve Kensington. And in 4th place, number 191, Steve Heath and Barry Knight. The winning time, 133.07, 133.07, 51, 8, 43 and 191. Well, away we go with race 33 as they come past me. Well, 2 only. Right, we've got Ivor Matthews and Shilling out there. No Mick O'Donnell, of course. Andy Norris has informed us that the crankcases and barrels have parted company on his Irish Westlake. There's no Gavin Newlin. And we did see, of course, earlier on this afternoon, Shane Baker pull out with mechanical problems. So 2 outfits only, but those of them would prefer a win in this last ride. Ivor Matthews and Peter Jones on 12 points at the moment, a win and a 2nd place. Shilling on 12 points, a win and a 2nd place. So both of these would like to have got the win, but it looks as if Ivor Matthews and Peter Jones are making better of it. Wondered earlier on, or I indeed wondered earlier on, whether Shilling did have the wrong choice of gearing or tyres, because Ivor Matthews certainly does look to be a little bit quicker, doesn't he? As they come round off that pit bend, they'll be seeing the last lap flag this time. Well, a good ride from Ivor Matthews and Peter Jones. They've certainly stamped an authority on Shilling and Paul Urycz in 2nd place. And I wonder how many observant ones amongst you have noticed that Peter Jones has got a different set of leathers that he had when he was down here at the Masters. And if you look at the name on the back of them, you know exactly where they come from. The checker flag goes for Ivor Matthews and Peter Jones. Shilling and Paul Urycz get 2nd place. Now we move to race 34, and I can see that Mick Cave is going in this one. He's on 12 points at the moment. A win and a 2nd place by my arithmetic, a 7 and a 5 point score. Well, as they get underway, it is indeed Mick Cave that makes a very good start. Watching to see whether Dave Penfold will get in that 2nd place. He doesn't quite make it. He's in 3rd at the moment, but no doubt about the man who's got to the front. That's Mick Cave and Mick Stace. This will be exactly what they wanted to do in this race because they've seen all the other riders scoring well. They know they've got to win in a second place. It's going to be tight to get into this big final this afternoon. And a win from their last ride is exactly what they needed. Off into the centre of the circuit. Well, you see in second place, going well at the moment, is Steve and Pete Bassett. Well, I apologise for that, of course it isn't, because we can see that... well, it is, yes, Steve and Pete Bassett going well in second. Dave Penfold up in third. 77 is Bill Beecham and Jimmy Godden in fourth place. Mick Cave and Mick Stace doing exactly what they wanted to do in their third ride. They lead as they come past me from Steve and Pete Bassett. Dave Penfold, who's been scoring steadily this afternoon. He's on 8 points at the moment. Well, we're certainly going to see him out in the B final, I would assume, but don't take any notice of my very amateurish arithmetic. I will rely on the lap scorers and point scorers next to me as we see the checkered flag go for Mick Cave and Mick Stace. Steve and Pete Bassett take second, Dave Penfold and Tony Hayford take third, and number 77 Bill Beecham, Jimmy Goodsall take fourth place. Mick Cave and Mick Stace. In second place, number 38, and that is this afternoon Steve Bassett and Pete Bassett. In third place, number 123, Dave Penfold and Tony Hayford. Fourth place, number 77, and fifth place, number 16. The winning time, 1:34.94. 1:34.94. To the 250s once again. We're back with event 1. If you look across that far side, who have we got going in this one? Number 76, of course, John Dormer. Well, he started to move up the points, but he knows as well as anybody that he still needs another good result this time. So we look across that far side, look for those yellow leathers, and it is John Dormer that gets to the lead as he goes into that first bend. I said he knows as well as anybody that he needs a good result. He had a win the second time out, of course, so we'll be up there amongst the point scorers. And I think a lot of the top point scorers are in fact going in race 36. I can see that Ian Lee Amos goes in that one, Adrian Phipps goes in it. They're right up amongst the top point scorers. Tony Airy, number 139, well up on the point chart. Here's Tony Airy in second place. Number 34 is of course another one of our replacement riders, Sean Neal. He's been scoring well this afternoon. And just another comfortable ride in this one. I think we'll see him into the final. And you see the last lap flag go for John Dormer. So he'll get maximum points. Tony Airy still there in second. Sean Neal is up there in third. So that's being challenged now as they go into that bottom bend. It's almost a race on its own, isn't it, for that second and third place. As you see, John Dormer so far ahead of the rest of the field. He comes round to take his second checkered flag of the afternoon. So that's 2 wins for John Dormer. And we hope that's enough to see him in the final. As we watch to see the rest of the night turn around off that last bend. Tony Airy gets another second place. And I think that's enough for him to get into that final. To the time. We move to race 36 and we're looking of course now for 183. He leads the 250 point scoring at the moment. We've seen Brian Cornelius go in that first one and Mark Bunting. They were second to him and Dave Mears. So a chance for Colin Osborne perhaps to make up here. He's number 46. Look for him, but I don't think you have any trouble spotting Ian Lee Amos as he goes round that first bend exactly where he's used to be. Right out in front. Number 12 is the rider that's down after him, number 21. So you might remember back to their second leg ride. These two had a good scrap and it was Tommy that got the best of it towards the checkered flag. But I'm sure Ian will be anxious to make up on that one this time out. Well, I did say last time they were scrapping that they used to scrapping with each other, and this is going to be another cracker by the look of it. Tommy has gone for the lead early on. It means that Ian has now got to make the decision to either go to the inside or the outside. Good scrap between these two, and I think we'll keep the attention on those two because neither of them will be one to be beaten by the other.
And this really could be an interesting one to the line. Remember, last time they battled this out, it was Tommy Palmer that got it just on the line. And all sorts of problems really. To hang on to it. I think that has given the advantage to Tommy Palmer, though. Well, pleased to see that Ian caught hold of the machinery and managed to bring it under control. But I think it does mean that the checkered flag and first place is going to go to Tommy Palmer as they come round this time. Adrian Milner is the rider leading the rest of the field in third place. See that checkered flag go? It is Tommy Palmer that takes it. Ian Lee Amos who gets second. But we look forward to a good battle between those two and John Dormer perhaps. Well, let's turn our attention to race 37 because this could be an interesting one because Dave Steer has had 2 maximum wins at the moment and Nevill, Penfold and Paul Randall are well up there in the points. They know that they're on 12 points at the moment. Need to get a good result in this one to make sure of getting into that final. Well, that's the way to go about it, isn't it? You get a brilliant start like that and get right out in front and then make everybody else do the hard work to chase you. Well, the man that's in second place at the moment is Dave Steer and Andy Orchard. Well, we know that the design of Dave Steer's bike does mean that he holds some very, very tight lines. It's a credit to the engineering of his machine because watch how tight he holds this bottom bend. Nevill, Penfold and Paul Randall are very, very quick around this bottom bend, but you'll notice they do leave a gap on the exit of the bend and you can see Dave Steer going for it. Well, you can see exactly what I was saying, how tight Dave Steer and Andy Orchard keep that machine. They took the advantage of the gap that Nevill, Penfold and Paul Randall were leaving, and now Nevill, Penfold and Paul Randall have got the work to do, as they actually look to be losing it on Dave Steer and Andy Orchard. 2 wins from 2 rides already, Dave Steer and Andy Orchard, as they go into the last lap in race 37. Nevill, Penfold and Paul Randall can do nothing to catch them, they're just holding second place. Outfit number 112, Rick Colvin and Nicola Colvin are holding third place in front of Tim Bennett and Pete Watkins. But we anxiously watch to see what happens in this last bend because Nevill, Penfold and Paul Randall are going very, very quick indeed. They've gone very, very wide as they pull it back in and get the checkered flag for second. That's 3 wins from 3 rides for Dave Steer and Andy Orchard. Our qualifying rides, we look to race 38 and we get a chance to see once again Rob Wilson and Vince Jones in action. Well, number 99 Trevor Colvin and Clive Miles have dived into that second place. John Halsey pushing hard for that third spot, trying to get through for second. They indeed move through on the far side, but look at Rob Wilson and Vince Jones. Well, I think all we can do this time is watch the clock to see what sort of time they get to compare to, for instance, Dave Steers, or as we've seen from the earlier legs, or third leg rides, back over the phase where you see that Penny Hook and Jane McLaren are fighting their way through from the back again. They move now up into 4th place, but we can actually watch the times because we know that Mick Cave, Ivor Matthews and Roger Measor have put up very quick times. Interesting that we see that we've got 3 crews, if the result of this race stays as it is at the moment, going through to the final on maximum points. Well, it's not very often you see that, and if my arithmetic is correct, we're going to see a very powerful lineup for the right-hand sidecar final. Rob Wilson and Vince Jones then into their last lap. As they go down that far side, I'm sure between them they're just working out what is the quickest line. They're not easing up at all. You can see throwing the machinery sideways, getting that back wheel spinning, then the passenger moves back and gets the drive. They take their 3rd checkered flag from 3 rides. John Halsey and Tony Miles take 2nd, and at number 25 Rob Wilson and Will Jones rides. Number 17, Dave Steer, in fact, had the fastest time. For race 39 we move to, and it's with the 350s as we look to the point scoring chart. We've got 1 man on a maximum, that is number 139. Hesitated there because I can see that on the far side that was that Dave Mears involved in problems on the start line. Well, it was indeed Dave Mears, so he's got a lot of ground to make up. On number 25 is equal, a lot of riders on 11 points. So the unfortunate mishap for Dave Mears, of course he is a lap down on the rest of the field at the moment. Oh, this is going to be very interesting. As I say, Dave was leading the point start. And it really hasn't turned out to be Mitchell Godden today, as I can see that I'm pleased. He's up on his feet on the far side, but he went wide on his second ride. He took advantage of all the happenings that were going on during that race. James Cawtheray, I think, got to the line in second, so I think we're going to see those two out in the final. 0.97, a win for Jonathan Duke, number 25. Well, as we turn our attention to the left-hand sidecars, a chance to see in action once again number 173 John Fish and passenger Gary Moore. They in fact have got a maximum in this competition at the moment, 2 wins and 2 rides. He's got Bill Penfold and Nigel Shaw behind him. Graham Hilton up in 3rd place. Well, as we look to that far side, it is John Fish and Gary Moore that are going strongly this afternoon. Well, we know that Bill Penfold is one for pulling all the stops out at the end of the day. So Graham Hilton under pressure now from Billy Penfold, number 23, for that 3rd place. But Bill Penfold not being able to catch at the moment John Fish and Gary Moore. He's just sitting back there in 2nd place watching them go. Oh, I'm interested to see whether there's any change in style with both. I would say that Bill Penfold is a little bit tighter on the bends, but that seems to be the only difference. But Bill certainly has closed the gap on John Fish, so he's letting him know that he's there. And he closes right up going into this top bend. Maybe he's going to have a challenge on this last bend. He's gone in wide. That should give him the ability to turn in tight on the extra bend. He's right on the outside of the It's very, very close to the line. That was a good scrap between those two. But John Fish having his authority on it and getting the checkered flag. Bill Penfold content with 2nd. That could do well out of this one is number 24. That's Tom Penfold and Bob Ager. Watch for them as indeed they do break from the start line and go into that first bend. So that could make the point scoring very interesting indeed. Watch them go around that bottom bend. I know that 251 John Arnott is perhaps in with a chance, as indeed is 125. That's George Penfold and Jason Glennie. They've been scoring well this afternoon on 8 points at the moment. There really is going to be, I think, a lot of these competitions very, very close indeed. Oh, Tom Penfold and Bob Ager going well, making sure that they're going to get the result in this one. Oh, it's getting close for that 2nd place though. John Arnott not letting George Penfold get away from it. He's not careful, somebody's going to go right there on the outside of it. Oh, 3 outfits together as they go across the line for the last lap. Phil Davis it is, number 217, that tried to go the wide way round those 2 outfits in front of him. George Penfold doing enough at the moment to hang on to that 2nd place. And again, you can see that Phil Davis is trying to get up to that 3rd place. A win for number 24, that's Tom Penfold and Bob Ager. Watch what's happening. Well, George Penfold does indeed get it as they cross the line. And that was certainly close for 3rd place. of us, we couldn't decide who indeed had got it on the line for third place. So let's give you the official result. It's a win for number 24, Tom Penfold and Bob Agar. In second place, number 125, George Penfold and Jason Glennie. And tying a dead heat for third place, number 217, Phil Davis and Richard Davis. And getting the same amount of points, being credited with a third place, number 251, John Arnott and Tony Doyle. So I think that must be the first time that I've experienced a dead heat. And I must admit, I totally agree with it, because I wouldn't like to have made a decision on that one at the time. So I'll give it again, a win for number 24, and it was a time of 128.82. 128.82 as we get underway with race 42, and we're looking perhaps for one of our maximum point scorers, Luke Patchell and Julian Browning. They indeed get to the front and they go to that first through in front of Neil Cuff, but it's Steve Farmer that's going well in second place. So Bob Miles having to work for his points this afternoon. He started off in terrific form, but he's really had to work hard as the day's gone on. Steve Farmer is certainly the rider that's impressed me this afternoon. He's got much quicker as the day's gone on. Luke Patchell and Julian Browning stamping their authority. They know that John Fish got maximum points. They'll be looking to equal that. Oh, if I quickly do some amateur arithmetic. Oh, that's the time to look over his shoulder. Still Bob Miles hasn't been able to close that gap from third to second. Steve Farmer holding on to that one. Neil Cuff still trying to get on terms with those riders in front of him. This has got to be a very quick left-hand sidecar heat. As we watch to see them come round to take the checkered flag, it means we've got 2 outfits and finish on a maximum point score. So they get another 7 points, making them on 21. 2 outfits, making sure of a place in the final by winning all 3 races. And Julian Browning. In second place, number 321, Steve Farmer and Peter Taylor. In third place, number 108, that's Bob Miles and Liam Chivers. And fourth place, number 126. The winning time, 130.20, 130.20, 808, 321, 108, 126, 130.20. It means that we come to that nice time of the afternoon where, yes, we're going for an interval. You can really rest assured that there's going to be some frantic work going on in here for the next few minutes, because we've got to work out all the points for all the riders that go into the big finals. Some tremendous finals in prospect. It always seems to work out like this at Tunbridge. We've seen some fabulous races over the year, and I think we're yet again in store for some great finals here this afternoon. Track looks to be riding brilliantly, and that's always nice to see. A credit to the people that have worked very hard all through the week to get this track laid out. And of course, the other joy of this is that you can have the opportunity to make use of all the facilities laid on. The beer tent's behind me, there are burger bars, etc. each side of me. On the far side, Bob's videos have set up over there, so if you want to go and look at his videos and you're on this side, you've got a bit of a walk, but it will be worth it. Pete and Pearl's photos are over there as well. And most of all, it means that, of course, you do get a rest from my voice for a few moments. I'll quickly knock out a few adverts, though. I've got to say happy birthday, and this is going to be a mouthful. Somebody that's staying with the Croucher family, travelled a long way. The left-hand sidecars, and the interesting thing is that only one of these outfits will qualify for the final. So it promises to be a real head-to-head. As you can see, going into that first bend, 2 outfits going in together. Steve Farmer almost running at the back of George Penfold, comes back across. It means that John Arnott has now got to the front. Steve Farmer goes through on the inside of him, but John Arnott determined not to let him through. And it looks as if there's all sorts of problems for Jason Glennie, as George very sensibly pulls off into the centre of the circuit. On the far side, we have just got 2 outfits left. John Arnott is winning the fight at the moment. That's John Arnott and Tony Doyle. But we have seen some great rides from Steve Farmer and Peter Taylor this afternoon, so they will be looking to come through. Remember, it's only one of these riders that actually qualifies for the final. Again, Steve Farmer trying to find a different way around, or is there a problem for Steve Farmer? He really has overshot that bottom bend. It means that John Arnott and Tony Doyle have got the best of it, and it looks as if there's problems for Steve Farmer. He looks across that far side, he really doesn't look to be getting much drive at all. But as we see the last lap flag go, it is John Arnott and Tony Doyle that look like making that final. Oh, we're asking a lot of Steve Farmer to actually come and close that gap now. Actually, just watch them go around that far side. Great shame that we had that coming together in the first corner, which took George Penfold and Jason Glennie out. But as we see them come towards the checkered flag, there is one place in the final waiting to be filled, and it's going to be filled by the winner of the runoff, John Arnott and Tony Doyle. Out earlier on, I said that it was Andy Orchard's birthday on Tuesday the 7th. On Thursday the 9th, it's actually Dave Steer's birthday. And all they will say is he's approaching 40. Don't quite know what they mean, but he's approaching 40. And best wishes from everybody, of course, the family and all his pit crews, etc. Well, we look forward to a very interesting runoff here. In the same situation as we just had with the left-handers, the winner of this runoff goes into the A final. But because there is a B final for right-handed sidecars, it means that the loser of the runoff goes into that B. So we look now and turn our attention back to the racing, because we've got two outfits on the line, and very interesting that they've both taken that inside gate. Now that really is an interesting factor. We look to see who makes the best of that gate. At the moment it looks to be Shilling that's made the best of it into that first corner. Nevill, Penfold and Paul Randall in second place at the moment, but I'm sure both these crews very conscious of the fact there's been a lot of water put down in the interval. Will it ride the same as they've been used all afternoon, or is it going to be that much slippier? We'll watch to see what happens. I think Russell taking it very cautiously at the moment. Leading, but still very cautiously looking at the surface. Nevill Penfold, in fact, has pulled off on the bottom of the circuit. So we wonder if there is problems for Nevill Penfold, or he's just felt that, well, today was not going to be his day. It means that Shilling and Paul Urycz go into the A final. Nevill Penfold and Paul Randall go into the B final. Lineup. Remember who's been going well this afternoon. Top of the points was number 183, Ian Leamus. Number 139 has been going well, Tony Airy. He's right up there in the top points. But points we can forget now. It is first across the line, wins the final. So a good climax to the end of the day, with every single class having a straightforward final. Well, John Dormer, of course, goes in this one. He's number 76. He had a disastrous first ride, but he's got himself into the final. He's got to be a strong contender. As we look to see them break from that start line, they go down that back straight. I can see that John Dormer has made yet another brilliant start. Ian Leamus has gone after him. Tommy Palmer's up there as well in third. But as they come round that first bend, you can see how tentatively they're taking it. Everybody knows that the surface may well have changed. John Dormer, though, not hindered by that at all. As he indeed gets underway. I can see that was Tony Airy that was left on the line. Well, that is a great shame, because Tony has scored well in this competition this afternoon. And indeed, as I say that, Tony Airy has put it down in that first bend. The riders going inside and outside of him to try and avoid him. But John Dormer it is that's setting the pace, and it's Tommy Palmer and Ian Leamus who we've actually seen battling together a lot this afternoon. Tommy Palmer goes through on the inside and gets up in the second. He's got a lot of work to do to try and catch the flying John Dormer. As John goes down that back straight, he's got 4 or 5 bike lengths lead, but there's still a good scrap going on for that second place. Ian Leamus on the outside, Tommy Palmer on the inside. Those two must have had 4 or 5 different scraps this afternoon. And as they again come close together, there is quite a long gap back from third to fourth place, but I wonder, is Tommy Penfold starting to catch up on John Dormer? Pushed all the time by Ian Leamus, of course. Those two have been having some crappy races this afternoon, and I reckon Tommy Palmer is definitely catching John Dormer. Oh, they go past us once again, and I didn't check earlier on whether it was a 6-lap final, but it certainly looks to me as if it is, and Tommy Palmer really has closed that gap. Well, he's really now starting to get close to him. He looks as if he's in with a chance as John Dormer slows in the bends. You can see Tommy Palmer is definitely quicker in the bends. As you watch them come round the top end once again, this is where Tommy Palmer starts to catch him. And as they go into the last lap, There's still 4 or 5 bike lengths, but we've got some tail enders that are now getting in the way. John Dormer's got to go the long way round. That will suit Tommy Palmer as he starts to catch him again coming out of that bend. He almost locks it sideways. It's going to be a last bend challenge. You can see that John Dormer looks to have his tone up. But we know Tommy Palmer is quick on this top corner. He drives to the inside line and John Dormer has gone very, very wide. Oh, it's going to be close to the line and Tommy Palmer certainly gave it all. A tremendous ride from Tommy Palmer. But we've got to say, obviously, congratulations to John Dormer. He was very unlucky on this afternoon, but he'd done enough in his other 2 rides to qualify for the final. And he was an outright winner from start to finish. But a tremendous effort there from Tommy Palmer. Race 43, the first of our big finals, a win for rider number 76, of course that is John Dormer. In second place, number 21, Tommy Palmer. Third place, number 183, Ian Lee Amos. Fourth place, number 34. Fifth place, number 48. Sixth place, number 71. Seventh place, 321. Eighth place, 37. Ninth place, 46. And 10th place, 139. The winning time, 2:23.27. 2:23.27. We move on to the right-hand sidecar B final. And I'm anxiously looking to see whether Nevill Penfold is making this final, because we did have doubts in that rear on whether he would make it or not. And in fact he hasn't come out, so let's pick them up as they come round that first bend. That looks like they go down that back straightaway. Frederick goes around the outside of it. Frederick and Steve Pension who spin it round in this bottom bend. The rest do brilliantly to avoid him. He literally had all 3 wheels sideways as he come round that bend. So a cracking B final we've got, because Steve and Pete Bassett get to the front. Dave Penfold has gone after him, and obviously it's Dave Penfold that's come in place of Nevill Penfold. So Dave Penfold to come round that bottom bend again. You can see that this track is obviously proving to be rather tricky now that they've watered it. But Stephen P. Bassett made the best of it. Dave Penfold is up there in second. Well, as I say, he's up there in second. He's going for the lead as they go into that top bend. There's Dave Penfold and Tony Haywood. So for number 8, of course, that's Rob Heath and Dean Bartholomew, but it's getting very, very close at the front now as it all starts to close up. John Halsey going a long way round. Well, John Halsey had missed the start, but he really has made up a lot of ground. You can see him going wide to try and get round the rest of the outfits. They're all being told to go a little bit wide on that far side. The outside of a lot of them. Oh, John Halsey and Tony Miles had a dreadful start. They got it completely wrong coming off the start line. They've opted for a very wide line. You can see again there's problems to Dave Penfold in this bottom bend. Steve Bassett almost put it sideways. Dave Penfold tried to avoid him, and you can see that that was to his cost. But John Halsey and Tony Miles have taken over this one there. You wouldn't have put any bets on them at all when they started this race. They were right at the back of the field, but they've opted for a wide line. They're driving hard, and I wonder if that's a lesson for the rest of the drivers that are going in the A final, because John Halsey certainly has kept a very wide line, and it really has proved to be his benefit. He goes down that back straight. He's got one more corner to go through. Oh, then it is to come round that bottom corner. Incredible gap after the fighting that's been going on for the lead of this B final. There goes the checkered flag. It's John Halsey and Tony Miles that take it. Coming round for second, a brilliant ride from Steve Bassett and Pete Bassett. Well, they look as if they enjoyed it, and it was certainly very eventful. And in third place, number 25, of course, Rob Wilson Jr. and Will Jones. We've got just a couple of numbers to give you, because I thought I was going to give you 3, but I've now been told that one of those has been excluded. I therefore can only give you the official result of a win for outfit number 13, John Halsley and Tony Miles. Finishing second to them, outfit number 38, Steve Bassett and Pete Bassett. Their winning time, 2:37.90. 2:37.90 the time, 13 and 38 the result in race 44. We now move to race 45, and that is of course the 350cc solo final. We've seen a lot of good 350 races earlier on this afternoon. Top of the list of point scorers is number 169, James at Cawtheray. Number 139, Dave Mears, has got to be a strong contender. Phil Roger, Brian Cornelius, and we get underway. It looks to be a rather difficult field. It's Dave Mears has made the best of it though as they go into that first bend. Looking to see who's after him, as it's number 139, Dave Mears the lead. Jonathan Duke is indeed the rider that goes after him. Brian Cornelius on the inside, followed by James Cawtheray on the inside. But Jonathan Duke having a go at Dave Mears as they come out of that bottom bend. Up the back straight, Dave Mears starting to get control of the race then, as Jonathan Duke loses on him a little bit going up that back straight. Dave Homer is the rider in third place at the moment, again opting for one of these wide racing lines. He's right out on the outside pegs. James Cawtheray has got himself up into fourth, and I think will be challenging for that third place, as again Jonathan Duke closes on Dave Mears. They go up the back straight. Dave Mears still leading, he's got 6 laps to complete, remember. Jonathan Duke still there in second. Dave Homer still holding third, but James Cawtheray all the time getting closer and closer to him. As they go past me, yet again we've still not seen that last lap flag. Dave Mears with a lot of work to do to maintain this lead. That's where the change is going to happen, I think, to that third place. You can watch James Cawtheray closing the gap all the time. Goes into that top bend. This is where he does look to be a little bit tidier coming around that top bend. A lovely leg trailing action that James Cawtheray rides with. He does get the inside line and goes into third. He's got a lot of work to do to try and catch Jonathan Duke in second. Dave Mears still well and truly in control. Well, he certainly has some strong races this afternoon, Dave Mears, but he's come out in this final and stamped his authority on it as he goes into the last lap. Well, I've been saying all season that the 350 competition is getting hotter and hotter all the time. I think the British Championships that we saw this year was one of the strongest and hardest fought for. And this is certainly one of the quickest men in the country on a 350. As he comes round off that last bend, Jonathan Duke had no answer to him at all. He comes round off the top bend and he comes towards the checkered flag. It's a win in the 350 final for Dave Mears. Jonathan Duke takes second place. James Cawtheray finishes in third. Race 45 then, an amended result once again. One of our riders unfortunately being excluded for going off the circuit. It means a win for number 139, that's Dave Mears, that's confirmed. In second place, number 25, Jonathan Duke. In third place, number 169, James Cawtheray. In fourth place, number 17, and fifth place, number 48. The winning time, 2:17.38. 2:17.38 the time, 139, 25, 169, 17 and 48. We move to the left-hand sidecar final. Tremendous lineup of left-hand sidecar competitors, and this one promised to be interesting. As we indeed get underway, Luke Patcher's made a very good start. Bill Penfold's gone with him. John Fish is up there as well. So really our top 3 runners right to the front of the field, as indeed we'd have expected them to be. It's Bill Penfold on the inside though, coming through, or is he? Luke Patcher and Julian Browning lead from John Fish and Gary Moore. Well, Bill Penfold goes very, very wide, and John Arnott has taken a very sensible tight line on that bottom corner. I thought he was going to get himself up into third place and drop back to fifth, as we watch to see him go into this top bend. John Fish goes after Luke Patchell. Luke still leading from John Fish at the moment. They've been forced to go wide. While indeed it is number 24 Tom Penfold and Tony Penfold in third place at the moment. They were forced to go very, very wide. Bill Penfold has now moved up inside of John Fish. John powers away from Bill Penfold going down that back straight. Julian Browning has a chance to look over his shoulder. He knows they're close to him. He must now realise it's John Fish, and look how tight John Fish has gone. Oh, Luke Batchelor's got the power on though. Bill Penfold still challenging John Fish. Bill has certainly been riding some excellent bottom corners. He's been going much, much tighter than everybody else. As we watch Luke Batchelor and Julian Browning take the line going up that back straight. The battle for second place now, this turning out to be perhaps that little bit more interesting as Bill Penfold gets closer and closer all the time to John Fish. Again, Bill Penfold has gone to the inside line, John Fish for the outside. Oh, there's a great battle going on for that fourth place as well. I thought it was Bob Miles that had sewn that one up. Now Bill Penfold goes through again into second. So a good scrap for that second place and a great scrap going on for that fourth place. But as we watch them go into this top bend, we're going into the last lap this time as they come past us. Well, Luke Batchelor and Julian Browning have had engine problems this season, but they've certainly stamped their authority on this one. A great scrap between Bill Penfold and John Fish though, as you can watch to see that Bill has just got the better of it coming out of that pit bin. John Arnott has done well to find speed for that first stage. He's ridden some very hard races this afternoon, John Arnott. But as we watch them go into this last corner, watch John Fish go wide. As Luke Batchelor and Julian Browning see the checkered flag, they're going to take the final, and it is Bill Penfold and Nigel Shaw that finish in second, John Fish in third, and at the end of it, it is at fourth place going to Tom Penfold and Tony Penfold. Well, I say they've had lots of problems. Show your appreciation to Luke and Julian because last weekend they packed up racing with a blown engine. They've been rebuilding it all week, and it's great to see that that rebuild has been successful. A very hard-fought final and very well won by 808 Luke Batchelor and Julian Browning. In second place, outfit number 2, Bill Penfold and Nigel Shaw. In third place, number 173, John Fish and Gary Moore. Fourth place, number 251, that's John Arnott and Tony Doyle. And fifth place, number 108, Bob Miles and Liam Chivers. The winning time, 2:29.24. You'll notice, of course, that 24 didn't feature in the results. He unfortunately has been taken out through course cutting, I can assume, but he doesn't feature in the results. It means you've got 808, 2, 173, 251 and 108. The winning time, 2:29.24, 2:29.24, as we move to the 500cc solo final. A lineup of my number only 14, 327, 73, 3, 215, 263, 39, 174, 21, 12, 212 and 74. They're away on the far side. We've got 6 laps of the 500cc final, and Rob Ledwith has made a brilliant start. Well, he really has been showing us that he's capable of winning this earlier on this afternoon. He's got a cracker of a start. It's Ian Humphries that's gone after him. Ian Humphries at the moment in second place. He's the rider that's got the challenge. You can see that in third place Chris Tritton has moved up through. And in the interest of safety, you can see that the clerk of the course has indeed put a red flag out. Well, I can see that Tom Palmer has certainly been very, very busy this afternoon. He features in this final as well. Oh, it was Ian Humphries that was the rider in second, chasing Rob before the race was started, but I can see that the revs have started to go up once again. Looks as if we're ready for the restart. Obviously something not pleasing the starter over there at the moment. Oh, it looks to me like Graeme Gordon is the rider that's not got machinery started. It is indeed 263 Graeme Gordon, so the rest of the field being asked to wait for him. Not interestingly, Chris Tritton has got a very wide gate. Chris Tritton, Graeme Gordon and Tom Palmer all out on the far side as we get underway, and is that red helmet overall Ledwith made it again? He indeed has as he goes down that back straight. Oh, we're watching to see what happens as they come off that first bend, because Rob Ledwith has made yet another brilliant start. Duncan Tolhurst is wide, Ian Humphries is after him, Tommy Palmer goes into third. Oh, Duncan Tolhurst pulls in on the inside of Tommy Palmer, but Tommy Palmer maintains that third place. As we can see now, Graeme Gordon and Chris Tritton trying to move through. As we look for the far side, it's Rob Ledwith that gets away, but it's together it's Tommy Palmer on the inside in the green leathers with Ian Humphries on the outside. Ian Humphries establishing himself in second, but Tommy Palmer breathing down his exhaust pipe. Chris Tritton and Duncan Tolhurst having a fight for that fourth place. It looks as if Chris Tritton's going to win that, and Tom Palmer goes round the outside. He's got himself up in the second place in front of Ian Humphries, and he now goes after Rob Ledwith. Well, Rob has looked to be riding some fantastic corners this afternoon. He's got that machine almost laid on his side as he comes round this top end, and Ian Humphries is not giving up on that second place. He comes back underneath Tommy Palmer. Oh, it doesn't look as if either one of them is going to get a clear run at Rob Ledwith. Well, those two are battling and changing places. It means that Rob Ledwith has got farther and farther ahead of them. Well, Chris Tritton is moving up on Tommy Palmer as well. And they come past me for the fourth time. Ian Humphries, the rider's being pushed to go for that first place, but Tommy Palmer again goes to that inside line. He's very, very quick round this bottom bend. Chris Tritton almost puts it sideways, but look at the drive Chris Tritton has picked up. He gets up into third place as he now looks down to close in on Ian Humphries. Rob Ledwith casually looks over his shoulder. He's got one more lap to go. He's not aware of what's happening in this second place, because now it's Chris Tritton that's forcing to go for second. He's again going to try and go around the outside of Ian Humphries. A brilliant corner from Chris Tritton. There's where he got the drive last time, so he should be quick down that back straight. Ian Humphries back in third. Tommy Palmer closing again, and they've all closed up on Chris Tritton. Tommy Palmer comes through. Rob Ledwith takes a checkered flag, but everybody must be watching his battle for second as Tommy Palmer comes to the line. Well, it was very, very close indeed. A tremendous battle for second place. Rob Ledwith, we shouldn't forget, rode a brilliant ride. He led it from start to finish. He was leading the race before it was stopped. He done exactly the same thing once again. He rode a brilliant 6 laps, but what a scrap for second place. Absolutely tremendous. Well, I do hope that a lot of you haven't put your results in already. It's a win for number 39. That's the official result for the winner. In second place, and yes, it was close on the line, it was number 14, Ian Humphries. In third place, number 21, Tom Palmer. In fourth place, number 3, Chris Tritton. Fifth place, number 74, Duncan Tolhurst. Sixth place, number 263. Seventh place, 327. Eighth place, 73. Ninth place, 215. And 10th place, 212. The winning time, 2.12.17, 212.17, 39.14, 21, 3, 74, 263, 327, 73, 215 and 212. We have, of course, the final for the sidecars. A tremendous lineup of sidecars we've got this afternoon for this big final. Where would you put your money? We've had 3 outfits that have been unbeaten all day long. One of those has already got to the front. That's Roger Measor and Shane Lapham. Another one is Rob Wilson and Vince Jones. They're up in second place. Mick is up there in third place at the moment, trying to get to on the inside of Shilling and Paul Urycz. But Roger Measor away from the Morizzi as Mike Cave gets much closer to Roger Measor. Mick Cave up in the second. Oh, we're looking for Ivan Matthews to perhaps come through. He's holding fifth place at the moment. Second, Rob Wilson and Vince Jones getting close to them. Shilling in fourth at the moment. but there's no stopping Roger Measor and Shane Lapham as they turn the power on coming out of that bottom bend. Ivor Matthews and Peter Jones moving up into third. They throw it hard into that top bend. Rob Wilson and Mitch Jones being forced to go wide. Going on between those two. Rustling is not out of it either. You can see him in 5th place at the moment. But as he gets close on that bottom bend, Rustling puts it almost sideways. Oh, Rob Wilson has actually been caught by the rest of the field now as Dave Steer goes through into 4th place. But Roger Measor and Shane Lapham doing very much away from the rest of the field as they come round past us once again. The one to watch is Ivor Matthews and Peter Jones. They're right at the back of Mick Cave and Mick Stace. Dave Steer is getting closer all the time as well. We know he's good at working through the field, but this is asking a lot for him to come through with those very quick outfits in front of him. Is going well out in front, but that's where the race is for that 2nd place. As we go into the last lap, Roger Measor and Shane Lapham almost casually going past us. Mick Cave and Mick Stace still there in 2nd place. A good ride from them, but they now know they've got Ivor Matthews really down the inside line. They're again trying to get close to him, but as they come off that bottom bend, there is the checkered flag for the big sidecar final of the day, and it's Roger Measor and Shane Lapham that take it. Mick Cave and Mick Stace get 2nd. I'm anxiously looking over my shoulder to see that it was indeed number 15, Ivor Matthews and Peter Jones, that got 3rd place. But indeed a tremendous ride from Roger Measor and Shane Lapham. Well, I can see that already there are a lot of people quickly drifting off to their cars. One thing that I was waiting to be confirmed and has now been confirmed is there will be a handicap race for the solo competitors. So if you can hang on for a few moments, I'm sure it's one that will be well worth seeing, where we're putting 250, 350 and 500 out together. Now, we're getting towards all the big meetings of the year. It's Roger Measor and Shane Lapham that come round to receive your congratulations. They've won yet another meeting here at Tunbridge. They're beginning to enjoy this, I think, at the moment. A win and an official result of the final race 48 in your programme. A win for number 51, Roger Measor and Shane Lapham. In 2nd place, number 5, Mick Cave and Mick Stace. In 3rd place, number 15, Ivor Matthews and Peter Jones. 4th place, number 17, is Dave Steer and Andy Orchard. 5th place, number 24, Rob Wilson and Vince Jones. 6th place, number 6, Rustling and Paul Urycz. The winning time, 2:21.86. My apologies for not giving you the announcement about the handicap, but it was something that was thought of and they were hoping to run it, but it all did depend on the amount of time that it took to run the meeting. So if you could bear with us just a few moments, it's an interesting race to look forward to. It's the top 4 of all 3 classes that will be going. So there are going to be some very quick 250s, very quick 350s and very, very quick 500s. Now that is interesting because that is 3/4 of a lap. Tommy Palmer is there with them as well. So Tommy Palmer had the option of coming out on a 500 or a 250. He's elected to come out on the 250. That must be 350s that we got on the far side there. I can see that Dave Mears and James Cawtheray have come out. They're joined by Jonathan Duke as well. So this could be an interesting one because we've got 3 very good 250 runners, 3 very good 350 runners. And I think they've changed it to 6 laps at the last minute. Now that's always interesting, isn't it? I'm trying to work out who that is on the line over there. I can't see through the marshals at the moment, but Duncan Tolhurst I think is on the line. Well, I'm not quite sure who the other 500 rider is, but well, it's going to be interesting. Obviously a flag start. We hope that the riders can see this flag on this side. Away they go. And as they break, the 250s have made a very good start. Jonathan Duke, I didn't think realised that it had all started. James Cawtheray was held up, but Dave Mears got a very good start. So it's Dave Mears that chases after the 250s. It's Graeme Gordon that I couldn't see on the start line, and indeed Duncan Tolhurst. So they are not happy with that start. I didn't think they would be, because Jonathan Duke and James Cawtheray were certainly held up on the 350 start line. Well, I think the 350 riders are ready this time. And do I see another rider appearing? Oh, it looks like Arthur Livens has decided to have a go as well now, so I hope they've realised he's coming the other way. So we've got 4 250s now, so obviously looking from the pits he had time to quickly unload the bike, and I can still see lots of red flags everywhere. I want to see those red flags disappear. And away we go. I'm trying to look in 3 different directions, and I think we did get a very, very clean start that time. So keep your eye on the 250s, because we've got some very quick 350s closing in on them already. It's Duncan Tolhurst and Graeme Gordon have got the hardest job to do. Duncan Tolhurst, I'm sure, will thoroughly enjoy this, because he's got 3/4 of a lap to make up, and in where the 250 started from, here, Duncan Tolhurst has made up some ground already. Now that's going to be an interesting marker. As I said, there is 6 laps, so we'll watch to see what happens. None of the 350s have closed up on the 250s yet, but John Dormer is certainly getting away. Now watch for John Dormer coming round again. He's the yellow leathers being pushed by Tommy Palmer at the moment. As those two come to the finishing line, where is Duncan Tolhurst? Well, I don't think he caught up much on his last lap. I was expecting to see him level on the far side that time. Dave Mears has started to make good ground though. He's closed on Arthur Livens and looks to be closing on Sean Neal as well. I don't think Duncan Tolhurst is giving up at all. He certainly is driving hard. Graeme Gordon pushing him every inch of the way, but John Dormer is going to take some catching. You might have another 200cc, but you're certainly going to take some catching because he's got a very quick 250. Now Dave Mears has got through into 3rd place, so he's only got 2 250s in front of him. He's got past the rest of the 250s, taking off the other 350 riders. Graeme Gordon and Duncan Tolhurst, I really don't think have got the time now to catch up on those 250s. He's got 2 very, very quick 250s. Well, it's interesting that down in the West Country, just a couple of years ago, the 250s and 350s were made to compete together. And even then, it wasn't always the 350s that were winning. So we're asking a lot of Dave Mears, I think, because look how quick John Dormer and Tommy Palmer have gone. They've got to open the rest of the field. Confidence over his shoulder. I'm sure he can't believe how well he stayed ahead of them. Oh, there was quite some margin, and I think by the look of it, Duncan Tolhurst has had enough. He coasts to a hold at the bottom. Graeme Gordon, I can see he's looking down at his machinery as well. 1 more lap to go, and this looks like being yet another win for the flying John Dormer. He's won the 250 final, and he stayed in front of the bigger machinery to win the handicap. Tom Palmer gets 2nd place. Sean Neal, no, in fact Sean fell, didn't he? So he's not going to come in 3rd. It's Dave Mears that comes in 3rd. James Cawtheray finishes in 4th. Jonathan Duke finishing in 5th. So our big 500 riders didn't really catch too many, did they? Quickly for all of those who do keep the official programmes, the result of the handicap was a win for number 76, riding a 250, John Dormer. 2nd, number 21, also on a 250, Tommy Palmer. 3rd on a 350, number 139, Dave Mears. 4th, also on a 350, number 169, James Cawtheray. 5th, number 25. 6th, number 263. 7th, number 71, 8th, number 34, and the winning time, 2:24.38. 2:24.38 the time, 76, 21, 139, 169, 25, 263, 71.